Hello, everyone. Moments from now, two Microsoft industry cloud leaders, Alyssa Taylor and Corey Sanders, will be joining me to go in-depth on the future of Microsoft industry clouds, highlighting the innovations and evolutions that will redefine what's possible for every industry today. Live from Seattle, this is Microsoft Ignite Into Focus. Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm Caruana Gatimu. In this session, you'll learn about Microsoft's approach to industry clouds and how that approach continuously evolves to meet the needs of our customers. We'll save time at the end for question and answer, both from in-room attendees right here in Seattle and from our digital audience. Submit your questions into the chat. To kick things off, please welcome Microsoft Corporate Vice President for Industry, Apps, and Data Marketing, Alyssa Taylor. Glad you're here. This is awesome. We're so glad you're here, Alyssa. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. It's amazing to be here with everyone, both in person and virtually.
I know, this is a fantastic event. So we're excited, but let's go ahead and hop into this important topic.
Right.
Will you share a little bit about why industry matters for Microsoft? What is the feedback from customers that we're hearing that led us to in this direction?
Absolutely. And the reality is industry has always been important at Microsoft. This isn't a new thing. We've been serving our customers across a variety of industries for decades. But I think what is new is the fact that all industries are changing in very unique ways, very rapidly. And so what we've heard from our customers is they need solutions that'll help them be more agile, that'll help them realize faster time to value, and a future-proof. Given everything that's happening, how do they prepare for the future?
All right, the pace of change is very intense right now. So
Absolutely.
What's different about our approach to industry today compared to what we've been done in the past?
Yes, this is very exciting, and we touched a little bit on this morning with Scott. So over the last 2 years, we have released our industry clouds. And this isn't a set of separate services. We actually, I think, took a very unique approach in the industry, which was to be able to bring together our first-party assets and third-party assets, things like data models, connectors, compliance, all of this that brings the vertical expression into the Microsoft Cloud. And so what this does is it actually brings very specific industry use cases, so opportunities or where they're having challenges, and allows for that technology to really light up those use cases, and for our ecosystem to have all of our partners to have a foundation to build micro vertical IP as well as very tailored solutions for our customers.
I love that. You know, that's where I came from, was a partner,
Yes,
industry
yes.
vertical knowledge. It really helps blend that knowledge you have of a specific area. For me, it was legal and government. With the technology, it's such a great way to expand your career also. So I'm excited about that. I hope people out there are. So how can Microsoft really, how can Microsoft Clouds help these organizations in like specific examples? What's some real world?
I think real world is always the best to talk about the impact and how we can help. One of my favorite examples is Bethesda Healthcare. So they are a health system in Australia, and they, like many organizations, they've been grappling with how do they give better care to their mental health patients. Especially with everything that's happened in the pandemic, mental health issues have been on the rise. And for those that don't know, when there is mental health issues, they can escalate. And by the time they would reach Bethesda, the only option for treatment was inpatient, to be admitted. And so what Bethesda wanted to do was to break that cycle and to provide care earlier. And so using the Microsoft Cloud for Healthcare, they did just that. They created a patient 360, but rather than just give the understanding of the holistic patient to the doctors and nurses, which is fairly typical, they actually provided it out to family members, social workers that were kind of part of the community of that patient. And so then being able to have that access, as issues came up, family members could reach out, they could ask for care, they could involve a doctor or a nurse. And so what that does is it provides the time of care much earlier in the cycle. And what the benefit of that is when a person has been admitted, it's very disruptive. They're taken out of their home, their community, out of their jobs. And so providing care earlier actually helps that individual, that patient, stay in their community with their families. And so that, I think, is just such an impactful story of what technology can do to help people, to help societies.
Right.
So,
and it's all, you're helping that patient, but also being a caregiver myself, I know that feeling connected to that community of care,
Yes.
having that information at your fingertips, it reduces your stress level as a caregiver.
yes, you feel like you have the resources at your disposal.
Absolutely. I hope they extend that for other situations. That would be fantastic. So, I love this example, and I know that there's some more. You probably have more to share there as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of examples. And the reality is we've designed these industry clouds to be able to do just like what I talked about with Bethesda across a variety of industries. So retail, manufacturing, financial services, again, helping in those very specific use cases.
Absolutely. I know also Satya talked about this earlier
Yes.
today as well. And I feel like as we continue to expand this area, there's opportunities for partners to do amazing work. It's the discovery of the scenarios that seems so important to me. How do you get inspired by these scenarios? Are customers telling them to us? How is that working?
That is an excellent question. So when we think about the industry clouds, we work very, very closely with both our customers and our partners to really understand what are the opportunities and the uniqueness of that industry. And then we design, and I know Corey's going to join us, and he's going to talk about how we build those first-party assets to light up those use cases. So in the case of Bethesda, that is our patient engagement, and I think we'll actually see that from Corey, right? So it was our patient engagement platform, and then being able to use ISVs like Teladoc to be able to do virtual health engagements. And so it's this really nice marriage of first-party services that allow you to get, we've talked a lot about do more with less, to get out, the most out of your existing assets,
Right.
Teams, Dynamics 365, the Power Platform, and then also connect deeply with our ecosystem.
I think that makes so much sense. And people always ask me questions about, well, how do I get people to adopt the technology? And for me, it's always about the business scenario. When you
Yes.
put the technology in front of someone with something that's relevant to their daily job,
Yes.
then adoption isn't what you're talking about. You're actually talking about how they can serve
Yes.
customers better or patients better or what have you, right?
Yes.
And that's also important to just call out the way that we take customer feedback.
Yes.
Don't think we're not listening. We're listening, because it's so important when people have subject matter and industry expertise, they come to us through our feedback channels, through our communities, and share these scenarios. And then, with some luck, we
Well, that's
build
why
them.
events like this are so important, because
Yes.
this is a major channel for us to be able to get feedback on our approach and how we're doing.
100%. So I love that. I love to really almost prove the marriage between feedback and product development and usage, and really getting people to embrace the technology in ways that are, more relevant to them,
Yes.
right? It's never about the features. It's always about what value we're driving. So
Absolutely.
I think that's so important. Thank you so much for sharing all that with us,
Of
Alyssa.
course,
We
my
appreciate
pleasure.
it. We'll have you back out here
Yes.
when we do the Q&A.
Okay.
So we appreciate that. Now, next, we're going to continue the conversation with our colleague, with your colleague, Corey Sanders. As we get ready for Corey, let's check out a real-world example of some of our partners who are leveraging the Microsoft Industry Cloud solutions right now.
Grupo Bimbo is a huge operation with more than 200 bakeries around the world.
We have goals for the 2025 to get 100% of renewable energy in all of the operations. And in 2050, we are going to be net zero emissions.
We needed timely and accurate information and a single global view on our operation.
This collaboration with Microsoft Cloud for Sustainability becomes a journey towards the same objectives.
There is also more efficiency, more productivity, a benefit for our value chains.
Using distributed order management, we were able to turn our stores into mini warehouses. We were doing buy online and ship from store, and then curbside pickup.
We absolutely want the customer experience to be as efficient as possible, as comforting as possible, and safe and secure as possible. So you want to be able to tie the customer journey together as they go back and forth between your channels, but in a non-obtrusive way. And using Microsoft tools is part of what's allowing us to do that.
We're going to shift gears to talk about how we're investing to bring this approach to industry to life. Joining me now via Microsoft Teams from his home office in New Jersey is Corporate Vice President of Microsoft Cloud for Industry and Global Expansion, Corey Sanders. Hi, Corey.
Hello, great to be here.
This is fantastic. We have you here on this big screen. It's wonderful, very exciting. So can you talk a little bit about how we are technically investing in our industry strategy more broadly?
Absolutely. Yeah, so we have pulled together an engineering team that focuses solely on building and deploying industry solutions. And there are three key components to it. One is tailoring our horizontal services, like Teams, for each one of our industry and enabling industry capabilities on top. Another is creating industry-specific building blocks, like many of the AI models that we've built that allow customers to take advantage of our horizontal services by leveraging those building blocks for their industry-specific requirements. And third, and certainly my favorite, is partnering deeply with industry-leading partner solutions and ISVs out there to be able to build these solutions together. And our work with the industry partners really enables and activates an unmatched global ecosystem of hundreds of thousands of trusted solutions to extend our offerings. And through this work with leading ISVs and system integrators, our customers are able to obtain a comprehensive end-to-end set of solutions that are just critical to addressing their business needs specific to that industry. You know, one example, and Alyssa mentioned it, we worked really closely with our partner Teladoc on their solution Teladoc Solo to build it on top of Microsoft Teams, allowing patients to engage with their doctors in a remote way. The timing of this, of course, was so important as the requirements for telehealth grew dramatically during the COVID pandemic and continue on to today.
I know that you're so enthusiastic about this, and I love your enthusiasm for this technology. Another example of partnering closely is with AFI, and I know they're a leading provider of autonomous stores and retail, right? So will you tell us, a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's amazing technology, and it's one of the great partnerships we've gotten to build, and I've really enjoyed actually personally engaging with them. As you said, they're a leading provider of autonomous stores and retail, and really showing great promise in being able to help retailers digitally transform. So we worked with them, leveraging capabilities like our AI platform, our infrastructure, our data, and even our Power Platform to be able to help them build their solution out, and obviously their expertise in the industry layered on top of our horizontal services was a really fantastic partnership. Another one actually to share is EcoVadis for sustainability. They have solutions used by over 800 organizations, mapping risks and engaging with 100,000 of their value chain partners across 175 countries. EcoVadis rates more than 90,000 companies on their sustainability index and is one of the leading providers of this information. So we're working closely with them to be able to surface that type of rating information along with our supplier data in the Microsoft Cloud for Sustainability Analytics to be able to give end customers this single experience on reporting and creating an amazing joint experience.
I think that's really important because what you're highlighting is the full Microsoft tech stack, but also data and insights to make decision, really kind of removing opinion out of these conversations, which I think is very helpful.
Oh, totally. That's exactly right. I mean, I think the goal here is again, taking advantage of the horizontal capabilities we have, like data, and helping take these industry solutions, these vertical solutions, where these partners have the expertise and empowering them to be able to leverage our horizontal for their very powerful and capable vertical solution. And so net, when you think about the Microsoft Industry Cloud, it really brings together the breadth of our offerings across Azure, Power Platform, Microsoft 365, Dynamics 365, and security, creating a tailored experience for industry and our partner ecosystem to meet the needs of our end customers. And our investments continue to make it possible for us to get closer to each industry and learn and solve for those intricate problems that are unique by industry and do it like we've never done it before. And I'm just so excited by the opportunity to have an impact and be able to change how some of these industries continue to work.
Well, enthusiasm is infectious, and so definitely, I can feel that from here. And also, there's tremendous career opportunity in this. There's lots of room for people to expand their careers broadly, horizontally, from a solutions or industry perspective, but also deeply in each one of these technologies. So whatever, folks are thinking about, this is the time to lean in and learn, I feel like. So will you share, what that industry-specific technology solutions, your team is building? Because, you're building stuff. What are you doing over there?
We're building stuff. We're actually engineering things. That's
exactly.
Right. Yeah, it's really amazing work, and I think the combination of the work we're building and the partners are building are creating great outcomes. And so I talked about Microsoft Cloud for Sustainability and the partnership with EcoVadis, but it's really a full technology solution that we have built specifically from that industry or sort of across industry perspective focused on sustainability, allowing you to unify your data intelligence and gain visibility to drive effective reporting and build a sustainable IT infrastructure. Other examples, sort of one of my favorite examples, frankly, because I have challenges with my appointments sometimes with doctors, is our AI system focused on a missed appointment. It is available as part of our Microsoft Cloud for Healthcare, and it leverages AI models to basically help customers and partners predict when a patient may miss an appointment. For me, it's easy because the answer is just yes, I'll likely forget and miss the appointment. So I'm not sure you need complex AI on that one. And then maybe one more example of a build scenario that we have that we just released, which is the Microsoft Energy Data Services, which is really focused on an energy platform based upon the open standards of OSDU. And again, a great example of technology that we're building, but with a deep partnership with Schlumberger, who is a technology leader in the industry. And so we've worked closely with Schlumberger to build a joint development path and deliver this solution to the industry. And the outcome is a fully managed OSDU data platform working with Schlumberger and truly realizing the industry aspiration of an open, extensible, and fully managed platform. So I'm very excited about it, obviously, and looking forward to the next set of things we build.
Well, what I want to know now that you've shared all that with us, and it's just so much that we are going to have to go back and watch this again, but where do people start? Where do folks get started?
Yeah, it's a great question, and the place to start is with our Solution Center. It is truly the orchestrator for industry clouds where we make it super simple to get going. So let's take a quick look at that.
Excellent.
And so here, if we actually pull this up, starting with the Solution Center homepage, it lists all the industry clouds. And so in this case, let's actually click in and show the Microsoft Cloud for Healthcare as an example. The beauty of the industry clouds is they're composable. So you can start with your biggest challenge first. So here, let's pick patient insights, see a quick overview of what we're looking at. This gives you additional information. It also gives the ability to do a guided tour. And so you can see the outcomes before you even have to click into it. So now let's actually select the apps. And in this case, you can pick very industry relevant solutions. So in this case, we'll pick the provider data model. And with that, you can deploy it into any of your environments. And so you can configure dependencies, deploy the solution. And of course, if you get stuck or you're not quite sure and you need help, you can go in and you can click into the help button and get that support right in the Solution Center. And so obviously this is just a quick overview demo that we just showed, but you can learn so much more about this in Microsoft Learn.
We love all that content out there in Microsoft Learn. Corey, thank you. Thank you for coming to us on the big screen here and sharing your awesome wall art. I think you get a 10 out of 10 from Room Writer, so we appreciate you. And now we're going to bring Alyssa back out, and we're going to take some questions. Please welcome back Alyssa Taylor. Yay.
Hi, Alyssa.
So I do have one interim question actually for both of you.
Okay.
So what I want to know is, what is most personally exciting for you about this space? Like, what really touches you about it? And I'd like you and Corey to both answer that question.
Okay, well, I'll take a stab at it, and then I'll turn it over to Corey. So Corey actually touched on this, but the Microsoft Cloud for Sustainability. The possibility that we have to help the world reduce their carbon footprint is something I'm incredibly excited about. And it's not only just the solution that we've developed to help people be able to record, report, and reduce, but also using the Microsoft Cloud for Sustainability as a platform for our ecosystem, for our partners.
Right.
So we see EY, they're a great partner that's taken the Microsoft Cloud for Sustainability, and they are actually using it to provide a very strategic platform for customers to think about how they reduce their carbon emissions, all the way to very unique IP to help operationalize it. So it extends out what we've provided from Microsoft, and EY is really creating just an incredible set of solutions around it. And I can't do it here, but soon we'll be announcing new capabilities coming to the Microsoft Cloud for Sustainability, so I'm very excited about that.
We will follow you for that. We will follow for that for sure.
Please.
Corey, what's
A little teaser.
I know,
A
little teaser there.
Yeah,
See,
exactly.
we like
Yeah.
to do that in these Into Focuses. Corey, what about you? What's like personally exciting for you about this?
Yeah, I'm, first of all, obviously, everything Alyssa said, super aligned on and really excited about. I'm going to go to another Microsoft Cloud for S example, but this one, Microsoft Cloud for Sovereignty. This is a new solution that we recently announced, and the focus here is enabling public sector customers to build and digitally transform their workloads on the Microsoft Cloud while still meeting their compliance, security, and policy requirements. And like all of the other Microsoft Clouds that we've talked about, of course, a big dependency and partnership with partners who can go and support us and enable these capabilities, whether they be landing zones or confidential compute, to deliver this to the end customer in the right way to meet their needs. It's just so exciting to be able to bring digital transformation to public sector and see this really come to life.
Awesome.
You're speaking my language, public sector. Love all of that. It's very good. So now it's time to hear some of your questions. Reminder, if you're joining us online, submit your questions into the chat. And our first question comes from the chat out there. Josh Liparati wants to know from Alyssa, what's another example of how industry clouds have helped to provide unique solutions in a specific area? It's exciting to see the opportunities that the industry clouds are able to provide, but we've talked a lot about those unique solutions and how they kind of pop up like an open canvas.
Yes, absolutely. We talked about the Microsoft Cloud for Healthcare, so I'll switch to a different industry and talk about the Microsoft Cloud for Retail and what we've been doing with retail organizations. And a great story there is Patagonia. So Patagonia, when the pandemic hit, they had to close both their physical stores as well as their distribution centers, but they still had to provide out clothing and accessories to their customers. And so what they did is they actually created their retail stores using the Microsoft Cloud for Retail to become mini fulfillment centers. And they connected their back office operations through their commerce system, and then they were able to actually bring that directly into those that were working in the store and create this very connected loop between the back office and the front office workers, and sort of almost overnight stand up things like curbside pickup, which didn't exist before the pandemic.
No, it didn't. And now it's everywhere.
Right. And so the unique thing about the industry clouds is not just the use cases that are static, but something that Corey and I work on very closely is how do we continually make sure that we're building technology that allows organizations to anticipate what's next. And I think the Microsoft Cloud for Retail and Patagonia is a great example of enabling an organization to keep their doors open during the pandemic and keep serving their customers.
Yeah, super important. That's excellent. I think now we have a question. Oh, look, here in the room, a live person. Please ask your question.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Alyssa. I'm Animesh from S&P Global. It's a finance company.
Yes.
And I'm responsible for automation and solutions in our company, the adoption of primarily Power Platform in the company. And when you talk about industries, it's in finance also. EY, we saw the example that low-code, no-code is getting into. I would like to know your views or observations on the adoptability of Power Platform, low-code, no-code into the finance industry, as well as, when you see low-code, no-code, how does non-technical people are reacting to this? Because Microsoft was all technology nerds, but now even the nerds who are non-technical can get into this and develop something for deliver value for their org. So how do you see that across the trend going on in the organizations?
Yeah, and I think maybe Corey and I can tag team on this one. I'll start with the second part of your question, which is the non-technical user, which is actually the benefit of low code. We wanted to put the tools in the hands of those closest to the problem, and that isn't always the developer. It can be the analyst, and it can be actually somebody that's working the front lines in a retail store. So that's the power, if you will, of the Power Platform. But I will say, we just had the Power Platform conference, and we had thousands of people that have come together that were non-technical users to learn more. And I think to your question on industry, particularly in finance, like the Power Automate, if you think about being able to automate different tasks, repetitive tasks, to free people up to do the work, the most valuable work, we see scenarios like that all the time. Power Apps, obviously, being able, we have Metro Bank in the UK. Power Apps is their, when you come into their retail branch, it is a Power App that allows you to actually enter your customer information so you get rapid service. So these are just a couple different scenarios that we see in the financial services industry with the Power Platform. And Corey,
I was going to add just one quick thing. I think to your point around just sort of how to operationalize it, we also have a lot of great guidance as part of our online content, Microsoft Learn as well, on sort of how to think about governance and how to think about enabling sort of the low-code, no-code usage in a way that will deliver upon all the value that Alyssa talked about, whether you're technical or not, which again is one of the really beautiful parts of the low-code, no-code platforms, but while also doing it in a constructive way, right, and making sure that especially for fairly constrained environments, typically financial services, that those end up following all the expected governance requirements of the organization. And so there's a careful balancing act there, but it's very exciting to see some of the scenarios that Alyssa mentioned. And I'd even expand out, especially sort of retail banking has a lot of opportunity, especially when you combine it with Teams, to be able to take some of the power of automation and the power of sort of simplified applications and be able to enable collaborative apps for the retail experience directly with end customers. So there's a lot of really exciting opportunities and a lot of ways to go build it in such a way that you can do it with confidence.
That's excellent.
Thank you for your question.
That's a great question. And I want to say one more thing about that. You can learn from us, but you can also learn from each other in the Microsoft communities. The community for Power Platform is there. There's lots of information around governance and best practices and how to really embrace people, both technical and non-technical, with some of these transformative tools. So don't just take our word for it. Go listen to your peers. Go talk out there and continue to ask your questions as well, for sure. And we have another question here in the room. Hi.
Hi, Alyssa. Hi, Corey. My name's Noah Scantleberry, and I understand that the global market is rapidly changing. Yes. And as such, I'm interested if you could highlight how Microsoft's do more with less approach is going to allow different industries to adapt to any unexpected obstacles that might arise over the next year or even past that.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that is a foundational pillar of the Microsoft Cloud for Industry. Because if you think about what I talked about, that it's not a separate service, right? It is the ability to verticalize the Microsoft Cloud. And so for those that have invested in Teams, that have invested in Dynamics and Power Platform, what Corey showed is really how you can bring that verticalization into your existing assets. And I think by definition, that's a great example of doing more with less, and being able to do it in a way that is tailored to the industry that you're in and the unique challenge. Scott and I this morning talked about the marriage of dealing with macro challenges and then these micro challenges that are very specific to industry. And so I actually think the industry cloud approach that we've taken, we hope, is fundamental to helping organizations be kind of anticipating what's next, having that digital foundation, and combating what is very unique to them in that industry.
Yeah. That is a great.
And maybe one thing I'll quickly add to that. I do think this is also a reason why the partnership and sort of the engagement with ISVs is so important as well. Yes. Exactly to Alyssa's point, building on top of our horizontal services, which customers already have or already leveraging, but then sort of working closely with ISVs who, of course, have the pulse of those industries and how those industries are changing, sometimes by region, right? Making sure that sort of we have awareness and understanding of what's happening in each one of these regions for each one of these industries. That's where sort of the partnership becomes so valuable, both for us and also for the value that we can bring to end customers together with those partners.
I want to thank you both. It's a great point. And I want to thank you both and thank everyone for their questions. So amazing.
Yes,
thank you so much.
Hi, Corey. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
So good. We just learned how the Microsoft Industry Clouds are making a significant difference. Go deeper into this topic in the industry sessions throughout Ignite, and make sure to ask your questions in the community, as I was saying. That's all the time we have for Industry Clouds. Thank you for joining us, everyone, and stay tuned for more Into Focus coming up later. Thank you.